Khabib is releasing an NFT. Will the UFC release Jon Jones? Is Dana White going to have to call Big Mouth and get Kevin Holland to fill in for the injured Darren Till? And the return of Nate Diaz. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go.
Oh.
Hey.
So the morning of the 30th, I saw a video put out by Khabib Nurmagomedov, all in Russian, talking about NFTs.
Yeah, and you guys might remember we were talking about NFTs last week. We were talking about the Bosslogic x Francis Ngannou collaboration that they released on Maker's Place.
Yeah, very successful collaboration.
Incredibly successful.
Especially since Ngannou won.
Yeah, and in fact I read that Ngannou made more off the sales of his NFTs than he did for his fight purse, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy. But when you see how much money is getting thrown around with these NFTs, it kind of makes sense. So.
A lot of money in the digital art world right now, but not a lot of MMA presence. Back to Joy's earlier story.
Yeah, so Khabib Nurmagomedov has announced that he will be having his own drop sometime in April.
So Khabib is going to be releasing an NFT 3 editions. There's going to be the gold copy, which there will be 290 minted. There's going to be the platinum copy, of which there will be 29 minted. And there will be 1 copy of the diamond edition of these NFTs minted. And like Joy said, dropping it sometime early in April.
Yeah, no real other information was given as far as like prices or any sort of hint of when this will be happening and for how long. But the most interesting caveat with the diamond, the only one being minted. Yes, the coveted diamond edition from Khabib's NFT collection. What does that entail?
Well, if you are the owner of the Khabib Nurmagomedov Diamond Edition NFT, you get to personally meet with Khabib. The Platinum Edition, there's going to be like prizes he picks out, he's going to give to you. The Gold Edition, there will be unlockable features. But the Diamond Edition, you get a meeting with Khabib.
That's pretty personal.
Up close and personal, which might be why one Twitter user commented that Conor McGregor was probably going to buy the Diamond Edition to try to get his rematch with Khabib, but we all know that Conor does not want that smoke.
No, but, I mean, it would be pretty ballsy if he did it, because then he could just be like, hey, guess what, Khabib, now you have to send me location.
Oh, snap, he could do exactly that.
Yeah, who knows?
Now, in our last video, we talked about how there was not much MMA presence in the digital art world. This is the second instance of a verified fighter's NFT dropping that we know of, but there's gonna be another larger scale operation. The UFC is releasing their equivalent to the NBA Top Shots. We don't have the date exactly. Sometime this year they're gonna put it out, but that's going to be massive. You're gonna be able to.
You could imagine.
I mean,
the UFC, when they do things, they try to be like the best and the biggest and the most extravagant lately. So you can only imagine seeing what happened is with Ngannou's drop, knowing that there is a lot to be made. A lot of hype, a lot of money, a lot of everything.
Yeah, a lot of fighters are going to want to be involved. I think the UFC probably holds the rights to their images and all that, so I don't know if they will be.
Yeah, who knows?
But if you're into collecting art or MMA memorabilia, comics, cards, this is a way you can do it digitally. Yeah. It's verified that the pieces are yours. There's editions of like 500, 1,000, all that. We don't know that much about it yet, but we're going to be checking up on it, and we're going to get back to you as soon as we learn more. In the meantime, keep a lookout for the Khabib Nurmagomedov NFT.
Yeah, you can go to digitalkhabib.com to sign up for email notifications when he gets more information.
Yes, and maybe you will get the coveted Diamond Edition, and he will send you location. Ooh. Although I'd imagine it's going to be incredibly expensive. Anyway, speaking of release, Jon Jones tweeted that he wants to be released from his UFC contract.
Yeah. Is this just a power play move, or does he really want to leave?
I don't think he really wants to leave. Jon Jones has been working his way up, putting on weight to make his heavyweight debut. I think he wants to fight Francis Ngannou. I don't think the UFC wants to pay him the money that he thinks he should be paid. I think what we're seeing is like an open negotiation between Jones and the UFC, in part via Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like he's using this to get some bargaining rights, and it seems like it might have worked because he deleted that.
Yeah.
Not too long after he tweeted it.
Yeah, a couple hours. He tweeted a bunch of things voicing his displeasure with the UFC.
Oh, yeah. So if you're looking for a little time to kill, you can go ahead and read his Twitter feed because it is full of just spilling some tea.
Yeah, and if you can't find his deleted tweets, somebody has them archived and up, so you'll be able to find them.
Yeah.
Again, I think Jon Jones should be compensated incredibly well for a possible fight between him and Francis. The UFC has a lot of money. I don't know what else is going on behind the scenes where they don't want to pay him to make this match, but I think it's the fight the fans want to see.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It's definitely the fight that the fans want to see.
Yeah, it's definitely not the fight Stipe wants because he wants a rematch.
Yeah, but, I mean, Dana White did mention in the post-fight press conference that Stipe will, if he wants to, get, his day. Just he needs some time off and kind of like just pushing him to the side right now. Because they are really hyped about Derrick Lewis, Francis Ngannou, too.
Yeah, I don't know if Derrick Lewis even wants that rematch, but...
No, he kind of was saying he doesn't want the 5-round fights anymore, so a little head scratcher there.
We're going to see how the situation plays out. We'll keep watching Jones, White's, whoever's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And as soon as we know more, we'll get back to you. Next up, is the UFC going to call Big Mouth again? The fight between Marvin Vettori and Darren Till disintegrated. Much like Darren Till's collarbone, he broke it, had to pull out of the fight.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks because I wanted to see how Vettori would do against Till. I think Vettori has a lot of potential in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
But he might not have lost his fight date because within hours of that fight getting scratched from the card, Kevin Holland is out on the interweb saying, I will take that fight. And both fighters have verbally agreed that they would fight each other.
Yeah, that sounds about right on both of them. Of course, Kevin Holland, any opportunity that he gets, he is going to raise his hand and say something.
Yep.
Something along the lines of, I want to fight. I'll fight him. I'll fight him right now.
And it's one of the things that fans and probably the company really likes about Kevin Holland is his willingness to fight. Also, if this fight does get made by the UFC, I think it gives Holland a chance to right the ship, kind of redeem himself after a lackluster at best performance against Derek Brunson.
Yeah, I mean, he already said his piece on that and then immediately apologized for his performance after he said his piece on that. So I think he just realized like he kind of just messed up and he really wants to redeem himself. And what better way than to take on a short notice fight from a really tough opponent in Marvin Vettori.
One of the few guys in the UFC who gave Izzy trouble outside of Yan. Their fight was really close, so I think Vettori has a lot of talent, and I think if this fight does get made, it will be great.
And the fact that both fighters consistently put on great fights, I mean, this is a win-win situation. Win-win for both fighters, because that'll just prove how down they are and how tough they are, and taking a fight on, like, zero notice, a new opponent. And it's for the fans. Like, of course we want to see more of Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Even though he was a little weird in his last fight, we want to see him redeem himself.
Even though we theorized he might have had a mental breakdown in his last fight, I want to see him fight again. I'm still a fan.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we did say he probably should take some time off, but maybe not.
Did we say that? We're going to go edit that out of the old video and re-release it. Last up, we have got the return of Nathan Diaz. Nate Diaz has been booked to fight Leon Edwards in the co-main event at UFC 262, headlined by Chandler and Oliveira. And it is going to be a 5-round non-title co-main event. That's the first time the UFC has ever done that.
Yeah, this is another instance of the UFC kind of playing around with the rules. The octagon size, the this, the that. 5-round fights were only title fights. And then any main event became a 5-round fight. Now, co-main events. Is this a direction in having longer fights for the fighters?
I don't know.
Just in general?
I would imagine that the 5-round nature of this fight had something to do with Nate Diaz insisting on a 5-round fight, because we all know he gets stronger the longer the fight goes.
That could be. It might have just been part of... Maybe it was his idea. I mean, he usually comes up with some good ideas. He came up with the BMF belt.
Yeah.
You know, he came up with that promo.
Conor McGregor. You're taking everything Nate Diaz, where he does it way better. But
Yeah.
Nate Diaz, he might talk a little strange sometimes, but I think he's actually a smart guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stipulated he would only fight if it was a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
I think he's got a much better chance to beat Edwards in a 5-round fight, and I like seeing him fight the 5-rounders. That's his style, is getting stronger as the fight goes longer.
Yeah, especially we don't get to see him fight very often, so getting him in a 5-round fight is more rounds that we get to see him fight, so That's cool too.
And it also makes sense because both fighters, Diaz and Edwards, have not been very active recently, so the pairing makes sense. No one's going to say, oh, well, Diaz hasn't fought in forever. Really, Edwards hasn't either, outside of that 1.5 rounds against Bilal Muhammad, who's getting the shaft out of this matchup because I know he wanted that Edwards rematch after the egregious eye poke he suffered.
Yeah, but hopefully they give him something to make up for it. I feel like the UFC will reward him in some way.
I would hope they would, because I like Bilal.
Yeah.
Yep, guys, that's going to do it. We wanted to get this video out to you quick as soon as all this news broke. Keep an eye on Khabib's NFTs. Watch Jon Jones' Twitter feed. Should probably know within a day or two about Holland versus Vettori. And if you're a Diaz fan, you're super psyched about this matchup between Diaz and Edwards.
And also, along the lines of the NFTs and along the lines of Jon Jones and how much Francis Ngannou made from that drop he did with Bosslogic, like, do you think that NFTs are a way to supplement the income for the fighters? I feel like the UFC doesn't really pay their fighters as much as they potentially could. Of course, this is something that we all know. It's just this huge elephant in the room. NFTs are a way to give them some extra money.
Yeah, the question is, do the fighters have the rights to their own image? I know some fighters have in UFC, some haven't. So if anybody knows the answer to that question,
we're not lawyers.
Drop it in the comments. We would appreciate it. Also, we always appreciate your comments, guys. Your likes, your subscriptions.
Yeah.
Click it, comment. It helps us out. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, make sure to leave a like and a comment.
Yeah, and speaking of comments, we have our comment shout out.
Oh, snap.
From our last video. It's going to go
Put
right
that
here.
right here. And one time we're going to get this right. We always do this last minute, but here it is.
Yeah.
Best comment from the last video.
Thank you so much for your comment, and we'll see you guys on our next video.